Hi everybody, my name is David Jackson. I'm the Manager of Information Services at Cardinia Shire Council. I'm responsible for day-to-day operations and for the strategic direction of Cardinia in information technology, information management and geospatial.
Hello, my name is Melissa Sheniart. I was the project manager for the implementation of Microsoft 365. So the M365 project consisted of several sub-projects, such as the Exchange migration and the laptop upgrade with Microsoft Office and Teams, and the move to a new EDRMS, which was SharePoint.
Cardinia Shire Council is an interface council. We're located about 50 kilometres southeast of Melbourne. We're nestled between the Dandenong Ranges in the north, Western Port in the south, Melbourne's suburbia off to the west, and the rolling farmland of Gippsland to the east. Cardinia has a population of about 115,000 people, with approximately 48,000 rateable properties. Some interesting facts: we produce 90% of Australia's asparagus, and we're home to the largest apple processing facility in the Southern Hemisphere.
Its residential population is increasing and is now over 112,000. Our organisation, Cardinia Shire Council, are now up to 500 staff and growing, which is reflecting the rapid growth in the Shire and the continuing need to increase resources, but also maintain our current service standards.
Cardinia were undertaking a really significant change program, as well as deploying about 400 new corporate devices. We were upgrading our intranet. We were migrating to Office 365. We were migrating to Exchange Online. And most importantly of all, we were changing our document management system. As part of this process, the primary issues that really kept me up at night were probably vendor relationship management issues. That was a really significant matter. The technology complexity of the change, most particularly change management, was a real concern. We were worried about how we were going to manage to bring 600 people on a journey.
We had a few technical difficulties along the way with both the Cardinia staff and the external consultants. But with such a complex project, we knew it was going to be hard to avoid. Communication was also a challenge. Despite having a great communication program, such as updating the newsletters and having regular updates on our intranet and having project champions across all the business, there was still a significant gap with the staff understanding the change that was happening.
For vendor relationship issues, I suppose we went out really early. We endeavoured to include and confirm our business requirements with all of our business partners as early as possible. We had over 20 business partners that we needed to include in that process. So we made sure we communicated very early and very enthusiastically. Ultimately, this worked for the majority of situations we found ourselves in, but absolutely there were some issues that fell through the gaps. With respect to technology complexity, so I suppose we had a really large project, and we broke that really large project down into sub-projects. So for example, we separated the project of upgrading devices from Exchange Online, and by breaking those down into sub projects, I suppose it became more palatable, and we were able to chew off those pieces and work through them. For the last piece, the hardest piece of all, and the piece where things could have gone really wrong around change management. So we knew that we needed a great business partner to help us deliver that. We knew that we didn't have the expertise in that space. So we went out to market. I suppose we sought assistance from the market, and we were really, truly grateful to find Adopt and Embrace to work with us on this particular project. They helped us on our journey and made sure that we got there in the end. We've seen this kind of project and this scale of project fail quite significantly. I've seen it in my time in IT, but through Adopt and Embrace's assistance, we were able to get there.
Approaching the building and facilities team as early adopters of Microsoft Teams and SharePoint provided a proof of concept and a foundation story. It was a great way for us to be able to get insight on those early technical difficulties, and their willingness to share honest feedback with us helped us along the journey. Also, having the customer immersion experience was a great way for the staff to explore all the capabilities of the Microsoft tools and have a hands-on experience. Was beneficial for addressing some of the communication issues and the gap that I was discussing before. Staff were finally able to have conversations with each other about how the change would impact their day-to-day activities.
When Cardinia started this project, we had 7 key outcomes we were aspiring to deliver. So they were additional functionality, annual cost savings, enhanced security, enhanced compliance, future-proofing, reduced infrastructure overheads, and improve our records management capability. And as of March 2021, so when I'm speaking to you now, we believe that we've delivered on all of those outcomes. So we've successfully delivered on all of those outcomes. A true tangible example of having delivered on those outcomes is our statistics around our records management engagement. So we've improved our engagement, our transparency, and our compliance. So pre-M365, and we didn't actually know this at the time, but we were only capturing about 35% of our corporate records. We did think it was about 50% of our corporate records, and that's an example of that transparency. So we've got greater transparency now. Post M365, we're capturing, and we're because of that transparency, we're confident in this now as well. Post M365, we're capturing 95% of our corporate records, and our March count on non-compliant network drive files created dropped from 40,000 in March 2020 down to only 100 network drive files created in March 2021.
During the pandemic, our council staff were able to communicate and collaborate with each other using the Microsoft 365 apps with enhanced security while working remotely. That was a real benefit to the organisation. And we've also seen a significant increase in compliance, where before we used to capture around 40,000 files, and we're now capturing over 120,000 files with our new record system.
Life's pretty boring if you're not learning something, and absolutely through the M365 project, we as an organisation learn a lot. I probably learn a lot as an individual as well. So probably the first key lesson that we learnt was around communication. So we had a really comprehensive communication program. There was a lot of input into it, and we were communicating a lot. I'd suggest that we probably went too early and too hard. So ultimately it became saturation and oversaturation of communication. And I think there were people who did turn off as a part of that program, and then they missed out on key messages. So probably a more tempered approach would have been better. We absolutely learnt the power of effective leadership or executive sponsorship, and Adopt and Embrace, and particularly executive sponsorship. Adopt and Embrace identified this very early on as a key requirement, having the executive on board. And I suppose we saw through the project how people genuinely need to get that executive leadership to really buy into these kind of programs. Without that leadership and sponsorship from the executive, I think you really place your overall success at great risk. And the last key lesson probably learnt would be around partnerships. So working with key partners, working with really great partners to deliver outcomes, pretty critical to success. As I've already sort of expressed, we were really fortunate to find Adopt and Embrace to help us on that change program. There were other people that we did partner with as well that we were really, really thankful for. So work with great partners and identify those great partners.
Also, foundation stories are a great way to engage with your early adopters who are actively supporting you during the project and your efforts as well. More resources should be put in place to support and implement those foundation stories.
I'm really thankful that we found Adopt and Embrace and we're able to work with them on this project. I think it was a profoundly complex project, as I've communicated a few times. And without their expertise around change, I think that things could have gone way off track. We've spoken to people over time about people who've undertaken this journey or attempted to undertake this journey, and it's gone way off track. But working with Adopt and Embrace and knowing that we had this strong partnership with them, they were accessible, they were flexible, they were willing to listen to what we needed to do, they were willing to hear us basically and work with us, and it was really beneficial to the outcome of the project. We're really appreciative.
The team provided Cardinia with a great or successful adoption strategy and engaging and impressive customer immersion experience and a very effective Microsoft Office and Teams training session, which was provided to the staff not only remotely but during a pandemic. Amazing work, guys.